Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the 30th episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast. I am Jeffrey Kirby. That is Caleb. He is with us today, looking beautiful as always. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Today's the 30th episode. I decided to pull out some cool shades for us today. So let's go ahead.
Yo.
So, other than that, we were just talking right before the show. You are not dealing with bad weather right now compared to me.
No, we've had rain. Like today, it's warmed up because earlier in the week it was cold. It's warmed up now, so we have like that fog everywhere. But it's in the 50s and 60s down here. It's just like rainy and kind of weird.
Damn.
What are you dealing with up there?
Right now it is snowing like hell. It is. Literally, the only reason why I'm okay with it is because of the fact that we just bought a new snowblower, so we get to use it finally. But other than that, hell no. This is why I wished I lived somewhere where it was warm all year round. I hate the cold. I hate the snow. People who like the snow, to me, are weird.
Well, I like the snow, so maybe we could trade places. You could come down here and watch some Liberty basketball games.
Hey. You also need to get, like we were just talking, you got to get me some Liberty gear.
I'll get you some Liberty gear. I'll bring it back.
Hey, I appreciate that. Because your spring break is also right around my spring break, which is also right around my birthday. So I have an idea for that as well. I have an idea already, so we're going to keep that in mind, which will also end up turning into a future video. So, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we post videos or when we go live like this here on the podcast. Now, we've had
I've just got to say, but before we dig into anything, I've got our stream pulled up and the call right here. So I'm just seeing you with those flashing glasses all over my screen in multiple different places, and they look awesome. So let's go.
I appreciate it. But let's go ahead. We got some things to get into because we also have we'll get into some of the Brian Flores stuff. But I want to start, and we're going to get into the Penguins because I don't know what the hell's going on with them. They went on a hot streak, and now they're cold as what it is out here outside of my place right now. But
yeah. So what are we starting with?
Let's start off.
I'm just trying to hold back a rank here.
Real quick, full disclaimer. Last week's episode, I did cut it off early. I didn't explain why. I was in a rush. I was not feeling good at all. I couldn't, I tried to push through, but I had to end it early, so I do apologize. I didn't get into a couple of the topics that I wanted to get into. One of them I kind of threw away, but one of them, which we're starting off here with, is an AFC North rival making the Super Bowl. Now, you and me have not discussed this at all, so I don't know where you are on the spectrum. I have a feeling I know where you are, but we're going to confirm it right now. How do you feel about the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl for the first time in like 30-something years, 40 years?
Go Rams.
Thank you. So here's the thing. I have personally been getting ridiculed. I've been getting dogged. Because I say I refuse to root for the Bengals. I can't do it. They are an AFC rival to me. I do not like the Bengals. Yes, I like Joe Burrow. He's cool. He did even come out today saying that he is still technically, he's always going to be a Buckeye, whatever, cool. But no, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I didn't do it when the Ravens were playing in 2013. I'm not doing it now. There is no way in hell I am ever rooting for an AFC North team in the Super Bowl. I just can't. What's up, Caleb?
See,
we have another Caleb we got my work Caleb. So what's up? I see you in the comments.
Hey, I love that name.
He's supposed to with a K.
We disagree there a little bit, but it's all right. We'll forgive you.
You'll love him. He's funny as hell.
All right, so my view of this is in 2013, I actually was cheering for the Ravens.
Interesting.
But the way I think of it is we are the only team in my mind with 6 Super Bowls. Now, granted, there's a huge asterisk next to the Patriots in my mind with the Spygate stuff that happened in their first 3 Super Bowls. So to be honest, I throw them all right out the door. Congrats. The NFL might consider them as 6. I don't consider them at 6. I say they're somewhere in there. Who knows? They're not legitimate in my mind. Okay. So I view us as the team with 6, and I first and foremost root for nobody else to catch us. So I root against Dallas, San Francisco every year because they're both at 5. I also root against the Packers usually when they go deep because they're sitting at 4. So when it was San Francisco and Baltimore, I was rooting for Baltimore because I did not want San Francisco to tie us with 6.
Okay. I could understand that.
Now, after that, because I want to be at the top, I like us being at the top and nobody else. City of Champions, baby. Now, below that, I don't mind when our teams are successful as a fallback because it makes our division look better. It makes it to win our division seems so much better when we've had all these consistent teams, the Ravens, the Bengals, and us. I don't know who the 4th team is, but when the Ravens and Bengals are good, it makes our division look better. But I will never cheer for them in the Super Bowl.
No.
Now, the Rams are also intriguing because I want to see Matt Stafford get a ring. Matthew Stafford has been someone I've kind of rooted for forever now. I felt bad for him. I feel bad for the Lions. I wish the Lions – I want to see the Lions win a playoff. Am I a Lions fan? No, but I have family members who are Lions fans, so I naturally feel for them. I want to see the Lions win a playoff game. It'd be nice to see Matt Stafford do that. Aaron Donald's a Pittsburgh kid. As much as we say he goes against T.J. Watt and like the head-to-head stuff, Aaron Donald's a Pittsburgh kid. So if T.J. Watt's not there, I want Aaron Donald to be successful. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is, I would love for Odell Beckham to stick it to the Browns and win a ring here. That would be so great if he could pull this off, get a ring, stick it to Cleveland, making one more thing saying Odell was not the problem. Ooh, that'd be great.
Listen.
So I have reasons to root for the Rams. And, the Bengals are a division rival, so I'm not necessarily rooting for them. But if they win, hey, we're in the division with the best teams in football every year. So it's just what it is. Best teams win sometimes.
So here's how I look at it. So I do understand because for a while with the Patriots, how you mentioned how you didn't want to get them, didn't want to see them get to 6. I was the same way that yet again I was always let me say it this way. In the Super Bowls that I have watched, because I didn't watch the first one against the Rams, the first one with Kurt Warner and all that. I didn't watch that. The first Super Bowl that I ever watched was the Carolina New England Super Bowl in Super Bowl 38 or whatever. And at the time it was like, you're a kid, you'll find interesting things about every little thing. Like I liked Carolina because God knows what, I remember at one point in time I liked Green Bay because I liked the G on their helmet or whatever. You'll find stupid stuff. And then this was all before I saw the Steelers, and then once the Steelers happened, well, then it was all over.
Here, look at this. News Channel 5 just did a survey.
So hold on, I'm getting information real quick that involves this.
Yeah, a team from our division is going to the Super Bowl, and we root for them. And 95% of the more than 1,000 comments are yes, we root for them.
See, there we go.
Because
so
not only is it an Ohio team, it's an Ohio.
Okay. So my mother was sitting next to me. And it was a news channel that did a poll that do you root for, what was it, division rival? And
A Cleveland news channel.
And 95% of the people said yes, you do. Of more than 1,000 votes.
Okay, hold on. That's Cleveland, though. They haven't had success, so they live vicariously through the other teams in their division.
Right. Well, here's my thing.
But it's an Ohio team and an Ohio quarterback.
But I'm going to say something about that too, because I have a theory on that. But let me get back to my point. I have a lot of hatred for Cincinnati. When I was younger, I didn't have hatred for them. I will be 1,000,000% honest with everyone. I had a Chad Johnson Bengals jersey. I did. I'm going to be honest with everyone. In fact, I'm pretty sure I still have it. But and then as time grew on, my hatred for Cincinnati grew and grew and grew. And then you get to the situation of what happened with Vontaze Burfict in the playoffs. You have the video or the incident of when their fans were throwing garbage at Ben Roethlisberger when he was on a cart getting carted off. Then you get their fans were, they were happy and cheering for Ryan Shazier's injury. And it was just, to me, that was pathetic. And my hatred that's why, to me, they're my most hated team in the division. I can't stand the Bengals. I hate the fact, and call me bitter, call me whatever you want to do. I don't care. I hate the fact that they're in the Super Bowl. Now, to a point that you kind of made on a different route, it is an interesting thought process to say, hey, they did sweep us this year. And one of them was a complete and utter ass whooping in Cincinnati. And it kind of gives you that prospect of like, okay, they gave us, one ass whooping in another game where it was like, okay, you were at the beginning part of the offensive line really trying to gel. You weren't without TJ. You were without TJ Watt, and you lost that game. You're like, so you lost 2 games to a team that's going to the Super Bowl. Okay, that does bring an interesting point of it. Rooting for them? No, because let's be honest here. And I'm calling out every single AFC North fan. Browns fans, Ravens fans, Steeler fans. I'm calling out our own fan base as well, for me personally. And I'm going to ask everyone the same question for all 3 teams. Say the Browns do make it to a Super Bowl. Okay, so the Browns make it to a Super Bowl. Okay, that might be a little bit different just because everyone's going to feel good for them just because they're an absolute pathetic and poverty franchise. When the Steelers when they went to their Super Bowls, and 3 in our lifetime, and I can't really answer for the, before, back when we were way before a thought, but the 3 that we were in, do you think that they rooted for us?
No, not
Hell
even close.
No. Not even close. Especially in 2005, 2006, when they believed that Kimo von Oelhoffen, had a dirty play on Carson Palmer. For those that do remember that play, it was like the second play from scrimmage. And, they were bitching and complaining and blah, blah, blah. No, stop that. Do you think that Cincinnati fans were rooting for Baltimore when they went to their 2 Super Bowls?
No.
So why the hell should I root for you? Let's be honest.
Bingo.
Why the hell should I root for you?
Now there is the fallback of like if I'm not rooting for the Bengals at all, but if they win, it's not the end of the world because it makes our division.
No,
look
like
better.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm never
to
going to watch
win?
football again, but
Yeah. Do I want the Bengals to win? Absolutely not. I hope they get absolutely smoked. But if they win, it makes our division look better. It's not a negative. But I usually don't. Now, I would rather – the only time I will root for our division, like in the playoffs, is if they run against, like, the Patriots and the Chiefs. Then, like, I would – but even then, like, I think that – but come to it this year, I was rooting for the Chiefs. I didn't want to see the Bengals win.
So here was my thing with this, because obviously at the beginning part of the playoffs, when we were in it, we're like, yeah, it would be great for us to go on this magical Cinderella run. We somehow find a way to beat the Chiefs and we, you go to a Super Bowl, whatever. But in reality, deep down, as we mentioned before, we all knew damn well we were going to get obliterated. We were going to get throttled. We were coming up with all kinds of excuses and hurrah and ha-ha-ha's about how theories about, different seasons. Well, we all know.
Yeah, well, what are we supposed to do? Stand there and be like, we're going to get smacked on Sunday? No. You got to be positive.
We had to convince ourselves somehow, some way.
Shoot, I still go to Pirates games. Let's go Buccos.
Hey. I'm wearing my Pirates hat today. Which, by the way, I don't know why. I mean, baseball ain't going to happen for a while, so I guess we'll go on with that. But
Pirates can't lose games if the season gets suspended.
Hey, there you go. I guess there's a positive for that, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's a funny That was a thought process. Hey, that was a thought process of like the Detroit Tigers fans in the 2020 shortened season. It was like, damn, we won't be the only team that has 40 wins this year.
Yeah, when that COVID thing and we were losing games, Pirates were supposed to be so bad that year. I just remember telling my dad, like, hey, look on the bright side. We can only, like, we're going to lose 50 games this year. This is not bad. 50. If you would have told me when I was, 10 years ago, hey, the Pirates are going to lose 50 games in a season, I'd have been ecstatic. Now, granted, it was a 60-game season, so 10 and 50 projection is not that good. But, hey, 50 loss projection at the beginning of the season, that's bright. So if we cut this season in half, cut it to 80 games, and say we'll only lose 70, I'll take 70 losses.
We'll put the party shades back on for that thought.
Oh yeah,
damn right. But yeah, just my thing is when it came to that. Okay, so once we lost, all right. I'll be honest. I was kind of like, it was between the Rams and the Packers because it would have been cool to see Aaron Rodgers win another one, and then because then that would have made that whole fiasco a whole lot more interesting. But then I'm like, the Rams would be cool because of Stafford, and because I tell everyone, I have a 1A and 1B reason on why I want the Rams to win the Super Bowl. 1A, I want to see Stafford win one. I think it would be cool because I really think that he was having a Hall of Fame career, but would have been harder for him to get in just because of the lack of playoffs. But for him to get a Super Bowl ring, I think that really helps and elevates that case. My 1B reason is just because I get to have fun about the whole Odell Beckham stuff. Because we all know I was already having a little bit of fun on it on Twitter on Sunday. And when Odell wins, it'll be great. It'll be because then I get to go Monday morning because I listen to Cleveland radio. I listen to them all the time. And it'll be great to just hear all the fans bitch and complain about it. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. But then if Cincinnati wins, for me it'll suck. But then it brings up to your point of, then I guess it does make our division look a little bit better. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Which, another thing too, I'm actually thinking about this because you obviously won't be home. A couple of the other people that I usually have over for like Super Bowl parties aren't going to be home because they're in college. I'm saying this right now. If I don't end up doing anything crazy, there's a slight chance I might do a live reaction stream of the Super Bowl. That might be interesting.
Hey, if you do a live reaction stream, I might make a second YouTube account just to like it twice.
Yes. CRF Trains 2.
Yeah.
That'll be your burner YouTube account.
I'll make my burner so close that it's like so obvious a burner, but then pretend that nobody knows. It'll be one of those kind of things.
Oh, and also real quick, I do want to say before we continue on, because this doesn't really affect Caleb because he's not getting bad weather, but we talked about this earlier. Anyone who is in the northern part of America who is getting absolutely obliterated by this snowstorm, please be careful if you do go out. Please be careful, and because this stuff is insane, and yeah, I just don't want to hear anything about accidents or people getting hurt during all this. If you can stay home, stay home. But if you have to go out, please stay safe and drive real slow. Although Caleb's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that right now. I'm getting 60 degrees. It's a little bit of precipitation, but just a little bit of rain. It's kind of like, it's kind of spring-like. What is that like? How is that, not having to put on boots and a Carhartt coat?
Now, it's only been the last couple of days because it was snowing pretty bad here about a week ago. But hey, we got beautiful weather up here on the mountain right now. Baseball season's coming. It's looking nice around here.
Hey, at least there's some sort of baseball that's going to be going on.
Yeah, we have games here in 20 days. So hey. I'm gonna get my baseball fix in, and the Pirates aren't losing. It is so many wins going on.
Oh, and you know what's funny too is because again, for everyone that does know, I do also have love for what's up, Jay? I do have love for the Guardians as well, and that's been my team for a million years. It's gonna be funny too that the fact that the plan was me, Jay, and our friend Paul was supposed to go to the first home opener or the first game of the Guardians because we went to the last Indians game. And now we're going to play the guessing game of when the hell is that going to happen? Which is going to be very interesting. But yeah, Jay, let me know. Obviously, I know. I mean, I was with you watching the Rams-Bengals game. And if I'm not mistaken, Jay, you were another one of those... you're another one of those... one of the other AFC North teams rooting for the Bengals. Which, again, I swear... You were the first person that I personally know that has agreed with me about this. About the whole... Okay, you just mentioned Commanders. We're talking about this right now. What are your thoughts on the... Well, let's put this out there. What were your thoughts on the jerseys and the name?
Okay, first of all, how stupid is it to put the W on the front of the helmet? No, like that just looks so bad. Put it on the side. Their black jerseys look like discount Steeler jerseys.
Okay, while you're talking, I'm looking up the... Okay, here we go. I'm getting us the windows here. I got to add it on real quick. I should have had... I didn't think we were going to talk about this at all. But yeah, keep talking real quick. I'm gonna get this picture out for the people that can see.
They're like the black jerseys. I like the fact that they went with like their circle like word mark they use. That's kind of cool. I think their W logo is, I mean it's a logo, I guess. It's very plain. I don't like their red jersey that has Commanders across the front with the lines. To me. It just looks stupid. The black jersey looks too much like ours. The white jersey's cool. I like the white jersey.
Okay,
but
here we go.
The biggest thing that bugs me about it is that they're selling Sean Taylor Commanders jerseys. I don't know how I feel about that.
I just saw that too. So those are the jerseys. I put them here on the screen for everyone to see. So you have I'm looking at them right now. The navy or the maroon one. No, I don't like those really. The white ones, like you said, I like the white ones. Those are kind of cool. If I were to ever get one, I would get probably a Chase Young white jersey. Which kind of sucks because I've always been a fan of that colorway. The color scheme of Washington with that maroon and yellow. I've always loved that combination. The black jerseys, I don't know how I feel about it. It almost looks like a mixture of... It really looks like a jersey that you would have saw from the... Alliance of American Football,
or like a Walmart Steeler jersey.
That too, like
it's kind of got the font with like the stencil
my first ever
marks.
Ben Roethlisberger jersey was a Walmart jersey.
Hey, Walmart Steeler jerseys are where it's at now. Walmart Steeler jerseys that are kind of a Steeler jersey, but their own design. That's what this looks like. Looks like you got like a yellow Steeler word mark. You got like the stencil marks and the numbers with our font. Looks like a Steeler jersey. The thing I don't mind is like those red helmets with the W on the side. Now the W isn't the coolest logo in the world, but those like the fact that they're like a plain helmet and it's like got that flat color instead of shiny. I like that. Anytime a team does like a flat color on a helmet, it just looks clean to me. I like the helmets. I don't like the black one with the W on the front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, that just brings me back to the whole like W flag that the Cubs have, and I own an L flag somewhere for Cubs fans. Fly the L, baby.
Hey, so what I gotta say is, so Jay puts he had a few comments. W for the win. I don't know about. He didn't know about him. He said it ain't terrible, and then he put in all caps. Nothing wrong with Walmart jerseys.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with Walmart jerseys.
Hey, like I said, my very first ever Ben, my first ever Steeler jersey that I ever got was a Walmart jersey.
The thing I
still
my
have
problem with my problem with Walmart jerseys are when the Commanders jerseys look like they're Walmart Steeler jerseys. Then we have problems.
And you know what's funny too is the nickname that everyone's going to call them now. No one is really ever going to call them the actual Washington Commanders. Instead, they're going to call them the Washington Commies. Oh,
hey, honestly,
Lord have mercy.
It hit me when they changed the name. I kind of liked the football team.
The football team actually wasn't bad.
I liked just Washington football. Like, that is, to me, that's, like, it was just plain. I liked their branding. Like, I liked Washington football. And I might pick up a Washington football sweatshirt just because I love the branding of Washington football. The thing is, though, so a little bit insider stuff that I could say now that it's over. This release was supposed to happen before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So that way people could go Black Friday shopping and Christmas shopping for their stuff. And they've had probably 10 to 15 like different major reasons that could have been avoidable if their franchise wasn't so dysfunctional. And they've pushed it back till now.
Shout out to the Snyder family. So a couple more comments. Hunter says Washington's new jerseys are sick. And then the more that I think about it, Jay, the more that I agree with you with your last comment. I wish we would have been the Cleveland Baseball Club. I don't think I said that before. I do agree now. I wish we would have just stayed Cleveland Baseball Club. Cleveland Baseball, cool.
Like, honestly, for me, the name, like, your nickname is cool, but your town's your identity. So, like, just Pittsburgh football, like, or Cleveland football.
Well,
or
I think
Baltimore
the Steelers
football.
are a little bit different just because they're a very historic franchise.
Now, the Steelers have a brand, but if they always were just football, that there would have been nothing wrong with that. Like, it's your city is what you're proud. So for Washington, like, I liked Washington football. Like, that to me, that was just. Now, granted, some teams have nicknames, like the Steelers do, the Packers do, the Cowboys do, but like your name, like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And I didn't think that when Washington was the football team. It finally hit me when they changed it. It's like, I liked football team.
Yeah, because at the time it just became a meme of like, you lost. Like when we lost to them to have our first loss on Monday Night Football or whatever. They're like, you lost to the football team. They didn't even have a name. Like it became a meme, and I think part of it was because everyone hated which again, you're never going to please everyone. It doesn't matter what name you're going to choose, you're going to get a lot of hate for it regardless. I mean, the Red Wolves, people would have. Now, I do think more people would have liked the Red Wolves, but you are still going to get a lot of hate for it. I mean, you're going to get a lot of hate for it regardless. And also part of it has to do with the fact that the Snyder family is a complete joke. But that's also a different story for a different day. I was waiting for you to say something. I think you were waiting for me to say something.
No, I kind of got sidetracked. I was looking at it would probably up to the next thing I'm going to mention. I was looking at the jerseys, like scrolling through, like, oh, these are pretty cool. And then, naturally the Steel City kid in me just like drifts over to the black and gold jerseys because that's what I do. Yeah. And I noticed how like they have some nice TJ Watt jerseys, some like nice Ben jerseys, which honestly, a little bit of a teaser here, but I'm going to need to pick up myself a Ben jersey because coming here in about a month, I'm going to have a picture and an autograph opportunity on campus at Liberty with our quarterback. So,
ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so real quick, I do want to mention this. Justin says, let's go Bengals. Hail no. You missed it. You missed it, Jay. I think you did. I finally found someone that agrees with me on this, on how I stand. And you knew how I stood. I had a feeling that Caleb was going to be this way just because that's also part of the reason why I like Caleb so much. Because me and him are, in reality, we're so alike in so many ways. Hey, and that's also, we both graduated college together, so there you go. There's that. But I do want to I was gonna talk about the Brian Flores stuff. I mean, if we want to, we can for a minute. We'll do it at the end of the show. I want to get into the Penguins because
Oh my gosh, rant incoming.
well, because I don't know what is going on. You started off. I was literally last week's headline for our show last week was the Penguins they're continuing to roll on. They were on a big win streak and they were just growing and growing in terms of where they were in the Metro, and now they somehow fall off a cliff.
Now, okay,
Rant incoming. Here we go.
rant incoming. Here we go. Hockey's a streaky sport. It's about getting hot and not getting hot. We were hot for a long time. You got to cool off. They were on a road trip for a while. Everything was off. My thing is we beat good teams, and somehow, just like the Steelers, we fall short against teams that we should not have fought. We should not have lost to Seattle. We should not. Now, Detroit's a respectable team. The Kings are a respectable team.
Because Detroit, they were starting to grow a little bit. Because they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were kind of on the lower. They weren't one of the greatest teams. And then this year, it's kind of like they're making a jump.
Yeah, they had their run for. I don't know, Justin. Let's talk Cleveland's hockey team.
They're gonna mention the Monsters.
Oh, the minor league hockey team y'all got? When was the last time you had an NHL team?
By the way, too, if I'm not mistaken, our minor league hockey team just played their minor league hockey team, and if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, okay, 6 or 7 times in like a week, and they beat them by a score of like 32-3 combined. And here's the thing: the Wilkes-Barre Penguins are pretty bad, and they just absolutely smoke. I think that they've lost to Cleveland like 2 times in franchise history. They just absolutely die. And it's fun too. It's like, I don't mind going to the Monsters games. It's cheap hockey, like it's fun. But when Wilkes-Barre comes in and just absolutely dominates, I'm showing up in my black and gold, my Penguins gear, rooting on those Penguins. Now back to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They had a little bit of a down run there. Part of it was, I don't know what's going on with Kapanen. Kapanen looks like he's a waste of a roster spot. And the fact that he...
Well, because I was getting ready to say, when I sent you a thing, I was like, damn, he was on the 4th line. I forget what game. Was it against the Kings?
It was one of those... It was either the Kings... Yeah, it was the Kings game, yeah.
But he was like, bro, we still have the Blue Jackets. Y'all going to claim the 76ers? Actually, no. Fun fact. From what I've learned, most Pittsburgh fans actually claim the Cavs. From what I've learned.
Not this Pittsburgh fan. Go Jazz, baby.
Well, I guess most that I have learned that don't, when the ones that live in Pittsburgh that don't have a basketball team, most of them that I've learned have claimed the Cavs.
Okay, that's fair. So honestly, we can't stand Philadelphia more than we can't stand Cleveland, so we're never going to root for the Sixers. Y'all can claim the Blue Jackets. Congrats on that 2016 Calder Cup game. In fact, I was there. I was a season ticket holder, so I know a little thing about the Monsters. They had one good year, and they've kind of fallen off. So they've been near the bottom of the American Hockey League outside of that one Calder Cup year. So they've been very much living up to the Cleveland name. So it's not bad. Y'all can claim the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets are like the little kid to the Penguins. The Penguins just absolutely own them. They have like 2 playoff series wins in their history of the franchise. Like, go ahead. Keep the Blue Jackets, man. Keep the Blue Jackets.
If we remember too, if I'm not mistaken, in the midst of our big winning streak, we did play the Blue Jackets in Columbus. And we obliterated them 5-2. So
yeah, in front of our fans in their building. It's kind of an embarrassment of a franchise, but it's okay. They had like 3 or 4 good years. The Blue Jackets did, and they had a couple of good years toward the beginning of the previous decades, like 10, 11, 12. Columbus has never been able to consistently have a farm system that was able to support their team. They have been just very streaky. Now, that we saw that streak come through Cleveland when Cleveland won the Calder Cup and then the Blue Jackets' most recent run. But then Cleveland, like, their farm systems kind of dried up because Bill Zito, their GM, went to Florida, which actually is the number 1 team in the NHL points-wise. So the GM that built that run, that sent it through Cleveland and sent it through their ECHL team and then sent it up through Columbus, the GM that built that run moved on. So it's
Jason, I don't even watch hockey. Listen, I just got into it this season, and I blame the man that I'm looking at for that.
Yeah, I'm not really that sorry though. You missed out on a good sport. So welcome to the party. Anyway, back to the Penguins. Right now, we have in that 4-game losing streak, the only people consistently above like a point per game note or our top 6 wingers. We aren't getting any production or top 6 forwards. Sorry, we're not getting any production out of our bottom 6. Now, part of that is because of Teddy Bluger. Teddy Bluger is so important to this team, and people don't even realize it. He's probably one of, if not the best defensive forward in the NHL right now. He's an absolute steal on that contract we have him for. And him going out with that broken jaw in the Winnipeg game, we have just been absolutely like downhill because of that. That messed up the chemistry on that 4th line. It messed up the chemistry then on the 3rd line. Like it's our bottom 6 has been not producing. And that was a key part in that win streak, was our bottom 6 producing. Our top is still doing just fine, but a hockey team is 4 lines. It's not 2. So we need Bluger to come back here once he heals up, which is going to be a minute. We need to get a little bit of chemistry back. This All-Star break couldn't have come at a better time. We have some good opponents coming up, so it'll be a chance to gain a little bit of ground in the standings and flush stuff around. Honestly, at this point, it's coast into the playoffs. Right. So you want to get hot at the right time, and I'm afraid we might have gotten hot a little bit too early.
Right. Hey, Caleb, do you think you'll be able to go on for a couple of minutes by yourself? I got to go and handle something real quick upstairs. Do you think you could go on continue on your rant?
I mean, I can figure this out.
All right. I'll be right back. I got to go and handle something real quick. I will be right back.
All right. So one other thing we have to look at here, too, with the coming up teams is this break that was coming up. That's the All-Star break leading into the Olympic break. Now, we're not sending any NHL players to the Olympics this year, which is a huge break for Pittsburgh because that gives them a little bit of time to heal up, but it also gives them a chance to get in some of these games, not only Penguins games, but other teams that we're trying to chase as in Carolina, who has a lot of games in hand. This break is going to get a lot of those rescheduled games played, so everybody can kind of be more consistent with the games played, so we don't have like a huge disparity in that end. And we have some big matchups coming up in that. We go to Boston, we go to Ottawa, we go to New Jersey, we host Philadelphia, we go to Toronto. Those are all big matchups. Now, Philadelphia is kind of having a down year this year, which is nice to see, but they always play us hard. We always play them hard. It's a rivalry. You got to go in there and you got to beat them. Ottawa, we're going to have to deal with a Matt Murray revenge game now that he's getting a little bit of he's getting a little bit of his feet underneath him. And so it's nice to see Matt Murray do well. Hey, let's see. The Penguins are going to get a couple of days off here. They have a week in between the Washington game, and the next game is next Tuesday in Boston. It gives them a little bit of time to get healthy. I'd like to see some consistency out of the bottom lines. I'd like to see Kapanen come up and go after his play up to his ability. I'd like to see the defense sticking together a little bit. I mean, Jari's been playing. Like, I don't want to see one person going and ripping into Jari for his performance lately, because it's been on our checking line, our bottom lines, and our defense that has let him down, because he's still playing. Now he's given up some goals because this bad stretch, but he's still playing like a Vezina caliber season, and that's good to see, seeing as he was coming off of a whole off season of, he let us down. He had a bad 6-game stretch. He was really good in the previous season. He was really good the end of the year before that. He messed up that playoff series, and we're on the brink of Pittsburgh running another goalie out of town. So we just, as fans, need to remember, let's not mentally run another goalie out of town. Let's keep behind Jari's back here. Let's keep supporting the people that put on the jersey, those sick-looking diagonal Pittsburgh jerseys that we've been wearing lately. And let's just continue to roll. Let's get healthy. I think we're going to get Bluger back sometime end of March. which would be nice to get him warmed up a little bit for like those April games, right, going into the playoffs. But it's a long season. We've created a big enough gap for between us and the ninth seed that we could, at this point, it's just a matter of what seed will be in the playoffs. It's a matter of where we fall. And so I'd like to go through the Metro. I'd like to get one of those top 3 spots in the Metro because I really would not like to see the Atlantic Division. I think we have a better shot against the Carolinas, the Rangers, the Capitals of the world as we do versus those Atlantic teams. So if we can just get one of the top 3 spots in the Metro, I like our odds. Let's get some help. Let's get healthy. Let's see what this All-Star break does for us. Let's see some more production coming out of Kapanen here. And honestly, the biggest thing we got to worry about as Penguins fans is cap space going into next year. I'd like to see us move Pettersson, Matheson, Zucker. I'd like to see us move one of those at the deadline because we're running low on cap space next year because we have Malkin, Rust, and Tanger up. Now, I would honestly, hot take, I would be okay with keeping Rust and Tanger over Malkin because if Malkin really wants to sign for less, he came out and said he wants to sign for less. He came out and said he's already made his money. He wants to sign a team-friendly deal, but he said this in the past. I'd like to see what happens. I feel like Tanger and Rust is a key person in this team, and people keep writing him off. They say, oh, Malkin, Letang, Crosby, that's our core. But we did just fine without Malkin this year. Malkin's a huge part of this team, but Rust is the next. Like, I would take Rust. Now, the problem is Rust is going to demand a long contract, so I wouldn't sign him for 6 years. If we could get him maybe at 7 times 4, that would be a nice little contract, but we'll see. Let's get healthy over this break. Let's win some games coming up here and this like little bit of gap where they put all those postponed games. Let's keep on pace. Penguins are going to be just fine. This happens in hockey almost every year to every team. So we just got to forget the last scores, focus on just the game for the night. I think the Pens are going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think that is something that's nice about this too, is like as you were talking before, with the fact that you went on, you were on that 4-game losing streak, but now you have a chance to kind of regroup, refresh, and now you could go. Now when you look at, now you can have the mindset of whatever happened in the past is the past. Now you could almost look at it as a brand new season and saying, hey, we're 0-0. And just continue to go and play your brand of hockey. And we've seen this team, when they play at their strength, when they play at their best, they are a very good hockey team. But another thing, too, that I had a little bit of concern about when it comes to the shootouts that I've noticed, too, and again, everything I'm saying, Caleb could go ahead and ridicule me or whatever, because I don't know really what I'm talking about on most occasions when it comes to hockey. But one thing that I have noticed in the few shootouts that I have seen, they all seem like they do the same exact thing, and they've become very predictable.
See, shootouts are a mind game that I don't think anybody will ever understand. The mindset is Crosby will go down, he'll do his thing because he's Crosby, he can make those plays. And then Letang goes down, and he'll do his exact same thing because in Tanger's mind, he's even said this in interviews, that he thinks that he does the same thing every time, thinking that the goalie is going to think, oh, this is the time I'm going to change it up and throw him off. I don't understand shootouts. Shootouts are a mental game. Honestly, I'm not the biggest shootout fan. We've seen some wild overtime during this last month of Penguins hockey. I'm fine for just letting them play 3-on-3 till you have a winner.
Right.
Forget shootouts. Let's extend the 3-on-3 because the 3-on-3 is the most beautiful form of hockey there is.
Okay, so I need you to do some explaining for me, because I'm learning here. So I was looking at the NHL and noticing that it was our All-Star weekend. So how do they necessarily? So explain how they do the All-Star game. I'm kind of curious. I don't really know.
So to be honest, are we talking like how they pick the All-Stars or how they play the actual game?
Let's do both.
Okay, so how they pick the All-Stars has changed every 2 years for a very long time. You had team only different conference like setup where teams would vote. You had fan only, not teams for different conferences. Then for a couple years there, they went to divisions, and then they went to like you picked them, like there was a fantasy draft, and then they went back to divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so how they pick all-stars is kind of all up in the air. Right now, the way it works is they have 4 different teams.
Okay.
And those 4 teams, and it's the way it's been for the last couple of years. Those 4 teams are the 4 divisions, and every team gets to send 1 player to the All-Star game. So the NHL committee and like various writers and stuff, they vote on a best player for each team, and then all 8 teams in the division will send 1 player for just like a 3-on-3 overtime style tournament, like 2 10-minute halves. They play 3-on-3. You got the 8 people from your division, and usually they send like a last man in or the last 2 men in, and they'll like 2 more. Like right now, I think Jari got the nod for the Pens, but then Gensel got the nod as the last man in. And so they'll play in a tournament. They'll probably do like Metro versus Atlantic and Pacific versus Central, and then they'll play in a championship game. And usually it's about a full hockey game worth of play. So you have 20 minutes, 2 10-minute halves for a division, 2 10-minute halves for another division, and then the third period is the championship match between the 2 divisions that won the previous games. So it's like a tournament. The NHL, it's always gimmicky. The cool thing to watch, which I know, have you seen like NHL All-Star games in the past or like the skills competition and stuff?
No, I have not, but I would like to try to, if I can, watching it this Saturday at 3:15 starting on ABC/ESPN Plus. Not sponsored, but for anyone that wants to know where you could watch it.
So actually, the All-Star game is really cool. It's fun to get to know some stars from around the league. But something cool that the NHL does every year is their version of the dunk contest. It's the skills competition. So they have fastest skater, they have different shot stuff, different passing competitions. It's always super fun. The players are all wearing their home uniforms, like their colors. So it's not just like a generic All-Star game jersey. They always play it up. Vegas is, because it's in Vegas, it's going to be played up like a big grand show this year. It's going to be really cool. That's Friday at 7:30, and that's definitely worth the watch if you have not seen it before.
I have
NHL
not.
Skill comp. Yeah, the skill competition. It's the NHL's equivalent of dunk contest, or like the Pro Bowl week stuff where they have them play dodgeball, or
which is going on this weekend.
Yeah, that all happens at the skill competition, and that's honestly sometimes just as fun as the actual game itself. Right.
I'll be interested to see. I'll definitely have to check that out because I'm definitely curious to see how it's going to look. So Hunter asked me. So first off, Hunter says, "Damn it, Jeff, say it with me. Malik Wills, Steelers QB1. Perfect.
All right,
cool.
I'm gonna do this again, Jeff, but it's Willis.
I keep on hearing Wills.
Willis. Well, everybody's wrong. It's Malik Willis.
See,
you know what? They're finally catching on. They're finally seeing the talent we have coming out wearing our colors. They finally figured out what university we have tucked away in the mountains here. People are finally figuring out his name. It's been a fun week, this whole Senior Bowl, to be a Liberty fan. But it is Willis. It's Malik Willis.
Okay, well, Malik Willis. And then he also, Hunter also asked, he said, Jeff, will you be watching the NFL Pro Bowl dodgeball game tonight? I hope Deontay, quote, Butterfingers Johnson isn't in it. So my thing is, will I be watching the thing tonight? What time is it? Because first off, Deontay, he has better hands than any wide receiver on the Cleveland Clowns. Johnson is going to. What kind of wide receivers do y'all have in this? Do we know? I don't really think any. So
yeah, I didn't think Cleveland put a receiver in this year.
They
had a good receiver. They pissed him off and sent him away.
Do they have anyone that's good? I didn't really think they really had anyone that was good. But
well, yeah, like I was saying, they're good receiver. They pissed him off. They cut him, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So there you go. So you guys, yeah, there you go. Clowns being clowns. What did Juju Smith-Schuster to say? The Browns is the Browns. He said, well, before that, we're going to watch Darius Garland and Jared Allen make it into the All-Star game. Yeah, damn right. I will say that, which, by the way, I plan on having a video of that tonight. So you're going to either see a happy Jeff and seeing one of those guys in the All-Star game, or you're going to see me very mad. That's the plan. I plan on getting a video out of me reacting to that tonight, so stay tuned.
I look forward to seeing it. You better make sure you react to the West reserves, too.
Oh, I'm going to react to the whole thing.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm going to react to the whole thing. Hunter says, well, Jarvis Landry is a Pro Bowl dodgeball legend. Yeah, he could be a dodgeball legend, but he's not a legend of football because, well, he fell off the face of the earth, too, just like the whole entire franchise over there. But that's a different story for a different day. But other than that, and that's something that we were talking about that I didn't get to mention, too, going into the Malik Willis thing.
Thank you.
So, obviously, the Senior Bowl is going on. There's been a lot of talk that the Steelers are in love with him. And here's my concern about this. It has nothing to do with Malik Willis himself as the player. I've had this thought that I have this weird feeling he's going to have the Trey Lance effect. Both were a small school player. Both quarterbacks came out of small schools. And what happened to Trey Lance? He ended up being the third pick in the draft. Do I think he's going to go number 3? No. But I do think he's going to go high. And if the Steelers really do like him, they're going to have to trade up. And do I think they're going to trade up? I mean, we were all shocked when they traded up for Devin Bush, because that was the last time they had traded up in the first round of a draft since Troy Polamalu. So that you ask yourself, but so far from what I've heard down at the Senior Bowl, they are in love with Malik Willis.
Here's the thing, though. This is Colbert's last draft with us, and so there is a little bit less of like the negative repercussion of having to deal with it if this goes bad, and if he gets the pick to put the next franchise quarterback potential on the roster, he leaves it with the roster in a better place.
No. You know what's
so
funny?
This would be the year they move up. I don't know if it happens though.
Here, you know what? I'll give you a comparison, and it's a very, very similar situation to this. Ozzie Newsome was for the Baltimore Ravens in 2018. It was his final draft there. Mm-hmm. They went and got Hayden Hurst. They drafted him in 20-something. They traded back a couple picks. And then they got back up into the first round at pick number 32 with, I believe it was the Eagles. And they got Lamar Jackson. So he left them with their, as of right now, franchise quarterback. So it will be interesting to see how Kevin Colbert's going to handle that, and how the scouting team is going to really look at that. But it's looking very interesting right now, and I love these kind of drafts. Now it's nerve-wracking for us because we're in a very unfamiliar situation of having to actually look for a quarterback. And Josh and Hunter, I will get to your comments here in a second. I feel like it's fun though. It's fun for me who covers the draft, but it's nerve-wracking as a fan of a team that needs a quarterback. And this is a similar situation to the 2018 draft of you don't know, like there's not a definitive number one. You could have all these guys ranked in all kinds of different ways, and you don't know where they're going to go. And this is what makes this fun. So I do want to get to a couple of comments here. Hunter says, well, Baker Mayfield turned into happy feet Stevie Wonder, so everyone in our passing offense turned to shit. Yeah, so did he. Josh Smith says, I know this has nothing to do with Chiefs, but I was listening to a Chiefs podcast, and it said the Chiefs might have $74 million in cap. I would figure out if that's the case. I don't have the payroll for 2022, but that sounds like there would be a situation where they would let go of a couple guys that are on high contracts to because you look at that. They have Chris Jones. I know he's on a big contract. If I'm not mistaken, obviously Kelsey, I would assume. And then Hunter says OBJ is going to KC next year. Oh, that would be insane. You have a wide receiver core of Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, Byron Pringle, Mecole Hardman, and Odell. Oh my God! But you made me think about this. Now I kind of want to go and look at the Kansas City payroll, and I apologize for us going off topic, but now I'm kind of curious. I don't know if that's what you're doing also.
That is what I'm doing right now. It's showing them at 15-1 in cap
Which
space.
again, and yeah. So Josh, let us know. Did they explain how? Because that sounds like a lot for a team that's very good and has the quality of players that they have. Payroll for 2022. I'm interested to see what. Okay, so according to Sport Track here, so obviously Patrick Mahomes, he has a $35 million cap hit. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyreek Hill, Joe Thuney. Hitchens is a guy that's interesting because that might be a contract they want to try to get off of. Okay, the fact that Travis Kelce's only making his cap hit's only almost not even $9 million is kind of insane. But there's, I think, a couple guys that you might be able to get off of that are interesting when it comes to their cap. They said that they're probably going to cut Clark and Hitchens and put Mahomes' contract in cap space, and Tyreek a new contract. Okay, so that's what I was gonna say, because Frank Clark had a big contract, and Hitchens was making like $12 million, so that would have been a contract that you definitely get off of, especially now because you had Nick Bolton, who had a hell of a year for them too. So, hey, but Josh, I understand you are a Chiefs fan, but thank you. I do appreciate you coming on, talking with us yet again. Y'all did beat our asses twice this year, so I can't really say much about y'all. And I was rooting for y'all against Cincinnati. And, yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to you guys in the second half, because that was insanity. But other than that, you got anything else for us?
Me? I'm good.
Actually,
I'm just
for
excited for the All-Star game this weekend.
Real quick, we have 3 minutes here. Brian Flores' lawsuit. This is, I think it was something that kind of caught us all by surprise. And now you have guys like Hugh Jackson that are coming out and saying, having similar claims with the Browns, saying that they also had a similar situation. And I heard something about how, because Hugh Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, he was on ESPN saying he went 1-31 in 2 years, and then they gave him a contract extension. Why do you kind of think that was? And it puts it's a weird perspective, but then when you really look at it in general, Brian, it's interesting to see how this goes, because look at Adam Gase. Adam Gase became a dumpster fire in Miami. He gets canned, but then he immediately gets a job with the Jets. And yes, I get the Jets are the Jets, but it's still kind of a similar prospect, or a similar perspective. And Eric Bieniemy, every year he always gets interviewed for jobs, but yet again, he still has not gotten a head coaching job. And I think the biggest one is Urban Meyer. How is Urban Meyer able to get a head coaching job, but some of the other guys are not able to? That's just kind of an interesting perspective.
This whole thing seems like we could be anywhere from it just getting dismissed and Brian Flores being like just caught on some like defamation of character stuff and like it just dismissed in court, or we could see owners get removed, and anywhere in between. I'm excited to see. Not excited. I'm interested to see where this goes.
I'm very interested to see. And now what I will say this is, if you're a team that still was scheduled to interview Brian Flores, how is that even going to work? Because now the teams are going to want to videotape it to say, hey, whatever, and it's just, I don't know. And this whole
teams
situation
are going to want to cut their interviews with Flores, and nobody's going to want to hire him. But as soon as they do that, he just builds a bigger case saying that it's discrimination. It's every team that still needs to interview him is in a tough situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's kind of just a big mess, and I am glad that we're in an organization that has nothing to do with this.
And in fact, I mean, we have a rule called the Rooney Rule based off of
the Rooney Rule is
owner.
named after us. So,
and that's something too that I thought of is that what really makes me appreciate our franchise and our owners that much more, because the more you look at it, the more it seems like the Rooney family is really a bunch of great dudes and a great family as a whole, and it really makes you appreciate them that much more. And I'm glad that they're the owner of my favorite football team. But I think that's it. That was a pretty interesting hour. That was fun, though. It was nice to see you again, because you weren't on with us last week. I do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Again, if you haven't yet, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. If you haven't yet, make sure go into the description. We are on Revolution Radio. Smash us on Facebook. Smash the like button on Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Rev Radio Live. Everything's down in the description. We have some new stuff coming for you. It's going to be fun. And until then, I'm Jeff. That's Caleb. Hope to see you next week. And if you haven't yet, hit the notification bell, because we got some videos that'll be coming out. But until then, stay safe. Peace out.
See y'all later.